Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in to a late night Liverpool news show. Me and Kev are going to be discussing obviously the breaking news in the last hour and a bit or so of the Jude Bellingham transfer merry-go-round. Obviously, Kev, big up, la. Thank you very much for jumping on.
How's it going, lad?
Obviously,
Thanks for having me.
you're very welcome, la. It was only not too long ago, as we were alluding to this tweet from Jan Fairtoff, that Liverpool supposedly were in for Jude Bellingham, and then within the space of an hour, all the English journalists very much stepped Liverpool very far away from this deal.
Yeah, man,
Bit of a mad one.
it's a strange one because even me, I'm Mr. Anti-transfer until they're leaning against the wall. But even for me, I was kind of getting up for it a bit when I seen that, the likes of Jan Fjortoft and all of these people were starting to post, Liverpool are definitely in for it, and that's the way it's going. But it's really strange how all of a sudden within like 3 hours ago, all of these journalists were posting that this was happening. And then, like the five main guys that Liverpool would leak stories to come out and just counter that. And like an hour and a half, 2 hours later, when the ball's gotten rolling and Twitter's going into meltdown and all this kind of stuff is happening. And then they say, no, Liverpool aren't in for him. They're cooling their interest. It's just too much of a price tag, blah, 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 blah. So I don't know what's going on there, man. I'm probably going to go through about 10 emotions in this show, to be honest with you. So, yeah.
Disappointed, mate. Of course, we knew, or every Liverpool fan, in all honesty, that FSG supposedly they've not got a lot of money, and given with my channel, especially the Fekir news years ago, obviously for me, the way I'm looking at this and analysing it, there was journalists in the past that very much ruled Liverpool out of us getting Alisson Becker a very long time ago. Paul Joyce is on record of saying Liverpool weren't in for Thiago Alcantara.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a very, very long summer, in it, mate. It's going to be up, down, left, right, everywhere.
I don't understand. I don't understand where this where have these other journalists got it so wrong that quickly, and how is it turned around so fast to say that the main guys that the only thing that I can think of, if I'm going from a business head point of view, I want to save every little penny. I don't know if Liverpool or FSG are playing a dangerous game right now, where they're hoping
for media.
Yeah, I think they're playing a very, very dangerous game. I'm thinking that Jude is already after telling other interested parties that he's going to go with Liverpool. Liverpool have gotten the front running seat. The deal starts with Dortmund, and before anything happens, Liverpool turn around and say, "But we're not paying you 150 million euro." And then when they say, "Right, we're not going to do anything for anything unless we bring in the other parties," and Liverpool are like, "Go for it." And this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking somebody's playing some sort of, muscle games.
Brinkmanship at its highest proportion for me, mate.
Yeah, it's shithousery at its best. It's weird, man. Yeah, I was over watching Connor's stream there a while ago, and I was just dying to bite or hit somebody. That's what I felt like, because I was sitting there kind of going, when is this? Why is this happening? What the hell's going on? What kind of game are they playing? And it's. Look. You can't be kind of, glamorizing a player for two and a half seasons.
We've courted them for two seasons, mate.
Yeah,
supposedly. Chat as well, and if you're Jurgen Klopp, the fact that this is something that we spoke about, mate, and every Liverpool fan up and down the land, it is, if Liverpool are to bottle this, it would be the biggest bottling of a transfer I've ever seen in my whole life, especially if Jude wants to come to Liverpool, but the club aren't making financial resources to give Jurgen Klopp. For me, that's an absolute embarrassment from the owners, in all honesty, mate.
Oh, it is, yeah. Like, it's 100%. We're going to get to them in a second. But I'm trying to look from the outside in. I'm not trying to get angry at this moment in time. I'll get angry in a minute. But I'm just saying, once I rile myself up. But yeah, how can you court a player for that long? How can you glamorize him? How can you do that and then just let it slip between your fingers. It's either these lads are trying to play the biggest or the best deal that's in the history of football by lowering money. But I mean, what's the difference in 20 million? We found this out now with other players in the past. Stop scrimping over. Like, okay, no, I seen a lot of people in different chats and different channels, and they're turning around and saying, "Oh no, that's fine. We can get 3 players for the price of Bellingham. That's great. But if there's a war chest there, supposedly of 250 million to 300 pounds, then why can't you buy Bellingham and those players? You know, it makes no sense."
These journalists have massively contradicted themselves. And I can say that because I'm just a Liverpool news channel. I haven't got my journalist qualification, and I get that is part of the game.
Yeah.
But a lot of them are sometimes the mouthpiece of the football club, in all honesty. Similar, the journalists out there up and down, especially around the world, that try and give off that they know something, but in all honesty, they're like us fans. You haven't got a bloody Scooby-Doo.
Not a clue.
What I don't like as well, chat, make sure you are hitting that subscribe button, everyone. Drop a like on the stream. Massively helps out. Gets it out there for more Reds as well. As I even said, that we have been well and truly played, but the journalists have, for the last 12, 24 months, from a Liverpool's perspective of, Liverpool are not buying midfielders because we're all in for Jude Bellingham. But yet, over the last 24 hours, it's been a case of, Liverpool now haven't got the resources. That's a load of nonsense to me, mate.
Yeah, like I not for an instant do I believe this is down to Dortmund. Not for an instant do I believe this is down to Jude, and not for an instant do I believe this is down to Klopp. So for me, it's none of the above. Nobody said no. Jude just wanted to. He said he had to come in. He's probably told other interested parties, no, I'm going to go with Liverpool. Liverpool have been strongly saying this and that. You know, his wages are probably sorted already. They've been done a long while ago, and all of his kind of deal has been done. The problem is, I think that Liverpool are having at the moment is that FSG are being tight about what money they hand over to Dortmund and in what way they want to do it. So either they're looking to get the absolute squeeze and best deal out of Dortmund, or they're walking a plank, man. If they are, because if they don't get this across the line, and all of a sudden, you know, who's the other targets? McAllister, Caicedo.
Well, we were joking about off camera, like James Ward-Prowse, but I swear to God, what was it? We got. I'm not doubting James Ward-Prowse's quality, but he's not the player Liverpool need.
Yeah, you know, for the 30 seconds on a pitch that we need a free kick taken about 3 times in a game, he's great. You know, but what else? What's he going to do? He doesn't press like the Liverpool players need to press.
It's just the most Liverpool thing that we're probably joking about it, mate. But it's how Liverpool have been operating over the last couple of years. Don't be wrong. Yeah. Our hit rate on the majority of transfers is being usually quite good.
Yeah.
But I think these journalists tonight, they're acting like Jude Bellingham is a quick fix. If we buy Jude Bellingham, he's a 10-year, 12-year project player. Like, yes, it's a lot of money in the short term, but long term, financially, as a football club, you will massively reap the rewards in all accounts for me.
Well, that money is back straight away in short sales if he comes. It's that simple. You know, so that money that they're going to spend on Dortmund is recouped. So I don't know why there's penny pinching. What am I saying? I should know why they're penny pinching. I've always praised FSG for their business notes and how they do business, but they've drastically let the club down in the last years. We just came out as the third most profitable team, by the way, in world football. Yet we've spent the second last amount if you go down that pecking order. So if we're third most profitable team and we're the ones that have spent the second least amount, let's say the least amount out of all of those top tier teams in the top 20, then what it really is, you know, you got a lot of people that were saying FSGO for no reason for years. They had their tinfoil caps on for a bit, and then you have people that are saying it more recently that have had more common sense and said, right, in the last 2 years, they're doing something wrong. And then you've had me, who's always been optimistic and always trying to back whoever's because of what they did in the past, but and how they built us up. But no way should they let a deal like this go if they haven't got at least 5 players lined up instantly to shut everybody up when this window opens. Instantly, these players need to be, they need to be in the club ready to go.
Could you imagine, mate, in chat, if Jude actually goes to Manchester City?
No, he can't go there, surely.
They got the money, they got the
Oh
resources.
yeah, they have, but that'd be desperation on Jude's part, I mean, there's other scenarios in this, and the outcome. Real Madrid, I don't think can afford him at this money, at this rate either. I think they've pulled out before Liverpool pulled out, and I think that, I think for me, I think it's ridiculous, really, to think that you can have a player like this, of this, promise him all it is, put him into a position now where he's decided to choose us, which I'm thinking this is the case, and now Liverpool, the suits in Liverpool are starting to turn around and say, oh no, we need to spin this to our advantage now, which ridiculous. Is disgusting. It's disgusting. It's disgusting against the player. It's a kick up the arse to Klopp, unless all parties are involved in it and they know about it. But if it's a surprise to Klopp and it's a surprise to Jude Bellingham, then FSG, if you want, is all I can say, So and that would be my point. Like, don't do this without it, unless all parties know, including the agents, including everything, that this is what's going to go down, except for Dortmund, that this is a thing that they're going to do together, that regardless of what Liverpool are going to go for Jude Bellingham, and he knows, look, we need to get the price down because we need to invest elsewhere. Then if FSG have just done this off their own backs, they need schooling, man.
I think your dog's in the background there, lad.
Yeah,
I think
he's I
think he needs to go to bog. Well, big up there, Dave. Hope you had a good 50th birthday, mate. Apart from this bloody news, it's going to be up and down, obviously, quite heavily. My channel is predominantly transfer news, as it has been over the last couple of years anyway. And it was very similar to the Fekir news. I think Jude Bellingham, especially over the last 4 hours, the news has gone from, as obviously we alluded to at the top of the show, Jan Agner-Fairtoff anyway, just saying, at Liverpool to confirm report early today, Liverpool have sent an offer to Borussia Dortmund, and the roulette table is open. And then within the space of like an hour, obviously that Paul Joyce coming out with straight away. He's the main man for Liverpool usually. Liverpool cool pursuit of Jude Bellingham and seek midfielder alternatives. And obviously everyone just coming out following suit, really. As Patrick Berger says, confirmed Liverpool won't be in for Jude Bellingham. LFC out of the race as they can't meet the 150 million price tag demand of Borussia Dortmund, as per multiple reports. Jurgen Klopp is a Bellingham fan, but he has a lot to fix this summer and wants to invest in other players.
We get that. If Klopp is after making these choices to go for other players or whatever like that, that's grand. He knows he's got to go for these players. Is that a hierarchy decision? Well, have we, since post Michael Edwards, have we not learned the lesson that if we're going to go for too many and there's never been an option B, an option C, an option D, we just went regardless and ended up getting Arthur, and who spent the entire season on the sick note, and we learned the lesson from Ben Davy, or his name was Davies before, Ozan Kabak, all of these, just what I'm going to say, I was going to say tic-tac players, but just players that are just going over cracks, and we just like filling the wall full of cracks, and it just keeps cracking. It's just
it's settling for mediocrity, as always, has been the last case for the last 5 years, mate. Everyone will go, and quite rightly so. We've been very successful under Jurgen Klopp. No Liverpool fan can deny that. But we spoke about it a couple of nights ago, mate, in chat.
Yeah.
Liverpool have got to be very careful. If we don't get the right business in the next 12 to 24 months, Alisson probably more or less will pack his bags. He is a player of immense quality. His expectations, I think we have, as a football club, got quite a bit of credit in the bank with some of our players, but a player of Alisson's quality deserves to be challenging for Champions Leagues. I don't think he's going to be sitting there on his hands, regardless of how much money he's on. He wants to be winning Champions Leagues. Yes, Liverpool have been in a lot of Champions League finals this year, but if the club, first and foremost as well, mate, in chat, if we're not showing the desired ambition, you only have to look a couple of weeks ago, Kev, Virgil van Dijk come out with comments in suggesting, saying this squad needs to improve. Jurgen Klopp, the last couple of weeks, needs to improve. And it's the public flirtation of Henderson and Trent doing all the legwork potentially Jurgen Klopp speaking to Jude. Obviously, that would never become public, but it does happen. We've seen it with Ferguson; he was the master of it, and it does go on in the modern game. It's just that a case of it goes on behind closed doors in a very secret way. And yeah, these articles were probably saved in the large majority of all these journalists' drafts. It was a cut and paste job. It was a script job for most of them and the majority of them. But they were the ones that were saying Liverpool were doing this, Liverpool were doing that, and Liverpool was saving money. We've got a war chest, all this and that. None of them have got a clue, mate.
Nah, not a notion. Only FSG only know what FSG are doing, and I think that the only reason these journalists have come out now all at once is because FSG wants them to know what's going on, and they want them. The journalists are pretty much lemmings in waiting. When it comes to FSG, what about Klopp? Klopp is a scapegoat for the journalists. He's, they poke him, they do whatever to him, but FSG always just hide behind what they're doing and their intentions. And for me, if this is a ploy and they pull it off, it'll be one of the greatest ploys you've ever seen in your life. Pulling out of a deal an hour after the whole world announces that that Jude Bellingham wants to go to LFC. And the minute that's done, all of a sudden, like, Jude's probably sitting in his place at home going, oh, yeah, the world knows, everybody's delighted, da, da, da. And then finding out, hang on, these are the top journalists now turning around saying, Liverpool are pulling out the deal. They're ringing the club. He's going frantic. And so I'm thinking that he's not in on the play, because otherwise, how would this work if he's kind of going nuts at the Dortmund saying, no, am I going to Liverpool? What's happening? Because this is coming in how they're pulling out of the deal. What's going on? Stop asking for so much money, blah, blah, blah. Just put something into the deal for down the line. Or, he'll that's what they're wanting him to do. They're wanting him to cut the deal down so that the initial fee is not a big one. And I'm talking, Liverpool only want to pay about 60-odd million pounds initially.
Penny pinching.
Yeah, it is penny pinching.
It's ridiculous, mate.
Yeah.
And the power is, of course, as it always has been the case, when they've had Haaland. I get Haaland had a buyout clause, and that was a lot more easier for City to get over the line. But you look at the Sancho deal as well. But thing is, if Jude, which was well publicised, was well chat, he hasn't got a buyout. He's got a massive contract already at Borussia Dortmund. And for me, and it has been murmured for a lot of weeks now, chat as well, potentially Jude Bellingham, him signing a contract at Dortmund probably wouldn't be above the realms of possibility. And he could probably himself insert a contract, because he's still only 19 years old.
Yeah.
But it's just, quite frankly, madness. Because imagine if you had a scenario where Jude, especially tonight or this week, has turned around and said, yeah, I've made my decision. I want to go to Liverpool. Then everyone's looked at the owners, looked at, obviously, the hierarchy at Liverpool Football Club and went, sounds, everything's pointing in the right direction. It's about time FSG actually done their due diligence, really, and actually put their hand in the pocket, because hence why we're playing so bad this season, mate. We didn't reinvest over the last 3-4 year period in the midfield, and hence why we're having an absolute shocking season. Everyone might pinpoint, and we're quite rightly so, when we mention the fatigue. No one would have anticipated the drop off, of course, but it's the neglect from the club yet again, from certain areas of it, that Liverpool are left with getting a Brazilian from Juventus on loan that's absolutely crocked. And quite frankly, just can't even get into the Juventus team if he is fit. And he can't even get into Liverpool starting 11. So it's disappointing, mate. But we'll get to all your comments as well. Big up, chat. Keep on getting them in. If you are new,
I think Alisson is the last big buy we've done.
Yeah, Alisson Van Dijk.
Alisson Van Dijk, yeah.
And everyone will go to the Coutinho money. You do wonder, if Liverpool didn't get that money for Coutinho, would we have actually spent all that money? The club, off the back of it, and hindsight is a wonderful thing, the club were going to spend that money, but who's to say that they weren't? They can always
say they're going to do it when it's already done.
When you've got the money in front of you from a big player, it's ridiculous, mate. You need to realise the brand. We think, we actually might go. Big up, Cabello. I'm guessing you're a Manchester United fan. Big up, mate. Thank you for tuning in. That's the thing. We've had a bad 6 months. Liverpool have been to 3 of the last 5 Champions League finals anyway, but we'll be back again. We need a player like Jude Bellingham. We need more, and we've all said this. We need more than just Jude Bellingham. For me, I was speaking to you lads before we come on. Well, before today, I still think we need at least 3-4 world-class midfielders. Two, like all these reports are stating, supposedly Liverpool are looking at just 2 additions, as Fabrizio Romano says there. Liverpool will sign 2 or 3 midfielders in any case. For me, even still, that is quite frankly still not good enough, because you look at Milner potentially going, Ox, Naby, Firmino's going, all that money will be getting saved at the football club. I get you've got to be running a correct operating cost and a more financially stable structure, but we're going to be left behind quite quick, mate, in all honesty.
Yeah, like it. I gotta trust in Klopp's input in this. You know, if it wasn't Jurgen Klopp as a manager of this club, then I'd be seriously worried about who.
But even still, like me and you have done shows this last couple of weeks, mate. He has to take some responsibility as well.
Massive.
He needs to absolutely get a set of
he
balls and
needs
go
to
to the
step up.
owners.
Yeah.
He needs to step up. Like it was only not too long ago, a couple of months ago, him saying he read out all the midfielders and said they were good enough. And they've all massively let him down this summer. Like he needs to go to the owners. Well, the owners flew over to Liverpool in January, and everyone was like, "What was that? Was Klopp saying I want midfielders?" At the end of the day, he didn't get his way because at the end he got Melo on loan.
Yeah,
like that's not good enough.
Yeah, and Gakpo to fill in for Jota and Diaz, but it was like the midfield was never
The attacking line was never our issue.
Thank goodness for Bajcetic. Is all I can say that you know kind of balanced out our season a little bit better. But I get Tyler Martin's coming back and the Klopp rates him and has a good future. But he's still a young fella. We don't need future talent right now. We've got plenty of it at the club. We don't need that right now. What we need is proven. What we need is a couple of proven Premier League players to come in and another really world-class talent to come in from outside as well, you know, just to kind of steady the ship. I'm not going to be happy unless I see like the likes of a Barella or you know, whatever about McAllister and them. You know, I'm not bothered about these guys. I want to see the ilk of player that's going to actually control that midfield and work alongside Thiago, rotate nicely with Fabinho to give that dude a break because he needs a break. He's getting slated this season. His drop off is because of how wrecked he is. But like, because I mean, no team can go from absolute world beaters, nearly winning all competitions, to crap overnight. You know, it has to be a factor in between that, and the factor in between that is, you know, is the fact that they're just a mentally tired team. They haven't been backed up. They haven't been refreshed. Because normally when fresh players come in, no matter how tired the team is, it gives that boost as well. You know,
I'm sick of that though, Kev.
Yeah, I know, I'm sick of it as well, and it's not been done.
I'm done. Like this summer, all of us. Like it's a PR exercise for all these journos. They're all in FSG's back pockets. Like I am sick to. Why are we scrounging round like we're Derby County, mate? Like we're Liverpool Football Club. If you want a high caliber, fair enough. Like we did with Shermany, we lost out to him because he went to Real Madrid. Sounds they are Real Madrid. It speaks for themselves. But we should be getting the 2 big clubs in England. Yes, City, of course, with the money and the resources. But we act, and we have been acting in a window for like the expectations. Like it's quite frankly ridiculous. And I am like it. And we'll find out in the next 24 hours or the next week. It'll be all the usual malarkey in relation to obviously the press releases and everything. Good. Like, fair enough. If this is a smoke screen and Liverpool, do you reckon potentially Liverpool have, especially if Jean does come out and says, like, obviously with that tweet, as we alluded to early on in the day, and then the football club have more or less told all the journalists, the well-known ones, Paul Joyce, and supposedly the people that are quite close in the football club to say, put the brakes on that and just put out this story. Is that another alley?
That's the main ploy that I was saying that could be happening. You know, I mean, they work in tandem together. The Liverpool PR group and these journals, they need to get the The journals want to see a bit of clickbait. They want to see a bit of back and forth. They want to see a bit of drama. They want to see people, gravitating to their sites and their pages. This is one way that they can work in tandem with Liverpool, saying, we can't just get this over, but can somebody give us the exclusive when it happens or something? I don't know. But if it is as simple as Liverpool just pulled out because of 20 million, 25 million, something like that, then that's just FSG just go, just get out of the way and just let somebody else come in that'll just back the club from what they need, right? What we need right now, and back Klopp, stop giving the man is turning greer by the day because he's dealing with, he doesn't want to be dealing with bureaucrats. He wants players, and he wants to teach players and hone a squad and challenge for titles. That's what he wants to do. He doesn't want to be sitting there kind of going, making excuses saying, we need to get through the season, and being tapped on the shoulder from behind saying FSG saying you have to say this, you have to say that. That works for a little bit if you're in a good place with the ownership, or you're in a good place with how comfortable you are within the squad. But if you're not comfortable with how your squad is, then it's about time as a coach to turn around and say, right, I don't have the tools to work with.
Could you imagine Mourinho working under this structure? I get Mourinho in his career of management. He likes to spend money, but it is going to come. There has to come a point, mate. And chat. What are we saying? What are we saying in relation to what's your feelings about this? Because there's 21 of us in here. Make sure you are smashing that like button as well, everyone. More interested in what you lads have to say, ladies, in the comments as well. So there's a lot of frustration is coming out at FSG, and quite rightly so, Kev. It's Joe, FSG House, and Livy, big up there, mate. It's even the FSG biggest staunched fans of the owners, and I get obviously his notion of obviously aiming spot on there. If we go, if our budget is 20 mil, like 200 mil, and we spend 150 mil on Jude, but I still reckon there's an easy 60 to 80 to 100 million pounds potentially there to be generated from potential player sales.
Yeah, I think there's a total package of about 300 million. Easily
300 million, easy.
Yeah.
So I'd be, if I was Jurgen Klopp, I'd be banging my head against the bloody brick wall. In all honesty, and it's predictable, very, very predictable.
For me, I know Lewis there said who wants Mason Mount. I don't get it. I get it. If we're not going for Jude Bellingham, we're not going for that. It's a choice between being stuck with more Oxlade-Chamberlains. If you give me the choice between stuck between more Oxlade-Chamberlains, Naby Keita's, reoccurring injury, Curtis Jones, and all of these mediocre players that just don't deserve to be in the Liverpool midfield, and Mason Mount, then I take Mason Mount. The dude is never injured, he's never out of the team, and I take him, but not as our main target for the summer, I would have him. He's your third or fourth target in the summer, and that's what we should be going for. Mason Mount should be coming in as a third or fourth target. Bellingham, your Barellas, your Caicedos, these should be all our first targets, and a good quality centre back as well to come in and back up Virgil and Konate, because I think Matip is going to be on the way out. But and Levy, you hit a nail the head there, man. Big club, small owner. It's just it's got to be. I third. This is what's getting me, Jack. I've never been kind of one for transfers and never been one for it, but it's getting me. We're third on the list of the richest intake in club on the planet right now. Third. And that's after Man City and Real Madrid is supposed to take it. And then on the other hand, we're the second to last biggest spenders.
Yeah,
so
I just don't know. You're spot on there, mate, in chat. Where's all this money going? I get, of course, the running costs. Everyone go, the running costs. Yeah, but still, you've got to reinvest that into the most important area of any club, like a business. You spend the money where your money makes the business, and that is on the football pitch, in all honesty. Yes, it's all well and good upgrading the stands and milk and bloody dry all the supporters that come in every single bloody week on a match day. But it's quite frankly laughable. You look at Spurs, great stadium, but they're absolutely terrible at football. More asked about playing NFL matches in their stadium. That's their highlight of the year.
I think this whole scenario is is about FSG right now. And I don't mean that they're not lack of investment or whatever. I'm thinking that if they are doing this as a ploy or whatever like that, it's to completely turn fans' heads around and get them back on the we love FSG train, even the worst stance and people that want them out. If they turn around and say, no, we're not going to do this, we're not going to do that, but okay, we're going to listen to the fans and we're going to buy Jude. If you know, it's such a PR. You know, it's like watching a thriller and watching about 15 twists in it, but it's them creating the genre and the scenario themselves, each scenario. And for me, you know, I don't even want to be hearing about FSG as a Liverpool fan, to be honest with you. I want to be hearing about trophies, players scoring goals, injuries, who's not playing this week, who's that. I don't care about the owners. I never want to hear from them. I want them to sit in the background and shut up and stay out of the way. That's what I want them to do. Invest in it. Take the plaudits. If you come to the stadium and you've invested well, you get the round of applause from the fans that are in the stadium. And that's the only time they should be seen, when they're coming to visit. I don't want to be hearing about them every day when it comes to... All I'm hearing now in the last maybe 6 months is Jude Bellingham, FSG, Jude Bellingham, FSG, Jude Bellingham. And then all everybody else is saying is Klopp is crap, Liverpool are crap, Liverpool crap. And there's just a mindset setting in there, man. I was looking at I'm on the channels while ago, somebody was saying get Klopp out. Like, and what's this got to do with Klopp? Klopp can only do what is on the pitch. He's been asking, he's been saying it, he's been dropping hints, and I'm hoping that he comes out now and even goes forward and starts saying stuff. But he won't, because Klopp he's just that kind of a nice guy, if you want to say it, nice guy syndrome. He gets on with his job and he does it. But
that goes to my point. You're spot on there. Klopp needs to get a set of bollocks.
He does.
In all honesty, in terms of getting the players he wants and the transfer budget that he desperately needs. Because, as I said at the top of the show, if we don't get this summer right, or the summer window after as well, we're going to be about 2 years behind in terms of development. Yes, I think we've done, me and Dave and obviously Dom done a show. Was it last night or the night before? Obviously, we're not that far off. We spoke about that. We're not that far off. If we get the midfield sorted, the defence, yes, it's been disappointing, but that is mainly due down to the fact of we've literally got no midfield and we're getting a bloody ran through.
Cover.
There's no cover.
Robert and Trent are you can see that's sort of when they play bad and they don't have the space that they normally get for crosses in a season, that's down to the midfield not covering. When we're getting cut through the middle and the ball is bypassing, because where our defenders sit, they're normally covered by the midfielders in that position. So we look completely open when the midfielders aren't doing their job. And that's the problem. It's not down to the defenders being out of position. It's that's the position that Klopp has the defenders in, because that's how we defend with a good quality midfield. He hasn't countered that because he's trusted the lads are fit enough to do it, but then they just don't show up in games. So it 100% needs to go. I know they're talking about Henderson leaving at the end of the season, that he could be on his way out to find football elsewhere and stuff like that. I don't mind this as long as you've got the same ilk of player mindset coming in.
Yeah,
I want Klopp's or Hendo's passion coming into the team as well. Whatever, but he's never been as skillful as Gerrard. Yet he's been, he's been a great captain for us. Taking over from Gerrard. So I need quality, not quantity.
This season has massively showed us all. Yes, you can talk about what they've done in the prior, but time waits for no one, as the great saying is. Time waits for no one. Football can change within a matter of months. Look at Newcastle. They haven't even delved into their pot of money. Manchester City, not going away, always have money. Chelsea, you've got to get up with times. And for as much as us football fans, especially Liverpool fans, we like to do things the right way. And that's how the football club has always functions. But certain moments and certain times, we need to spend money. Like it's there. Like the money that is being generated, and I'm waiting for all these articles as well, chat. All this absolute utter nonsense. You could literally script it. Soon, if we don't get top 4 this year, which is more or less the 99% thing now, it'd be our targets have changed, Kev, because our revenue stream has been supposedly hit. My ass.
Yeah, no. We're just after coming out. I literally just said it a while ago. We're coming out as the third most profitable team in world football at the moment. The revenues are savage. So how do we go from that? How does what competition we get into the following season, or like 3 or 4 months later, even balance. Like, how can you turn around and say this is the reason that we're not spending that? And I'm just like, well, you should be spending that so that you don't have to go here, you know. And that's the whole point. Take a hit for the one season, move up to the next level again, go back up the ladder, and go again. It's not none of the only thing that's making sense to me is this is down to a money thing for FSG. It's down to how much they can not spend in a window, even though it's absolutely a necessity. So I'm at that ilk now where I'm before it was always down to who Klopp wanted, and Klopp could turn players into world class players and stuff like that. He hasn't got the time now to do that because he's been let down for nearly 3 or 4 windows where he hasn't been backed, and now he has to get in talent again, just like he did with Van Dijk, just like he did with Alisson. It needs that kind of a drastic influx of players to get a spine back in the team again, you know?
That's the thing, though, mate, isn't it? Of course, chat, and we all love Jurgen Klopp, but if Liverpool don't get this window sorted, eventually the question marks will, not for me because I love the man and I think he's got so much time in his bank, but people will eventually start questioning Jurgen Klopp's position, especially if he can't get it right. But that goes on to what we've just discussed there as well, mate. And chat, it's up to Jurgen Klopp this summer window to say, demand his funds, demand who he wants, get them into the club. But if he can't do that and the club can't get the transfer, we'll be looking at another 8th to 10th place finish next season, unless there's a massive. At the end of the day, we're not going to go again with the same midfield this year. But it does beg the question who these targets are, who you're going to get, what fees, what transfer fees are available. But chat, keep on getting your comments in as well. If you are new around here, make sure you do hit that subscribe button down below.
You don't mind, Jack, if we go to 8th to 10th, if it's down to mainly the team's fault. No, I know the team has been off par or whatever like that, but like you'd have to say it's 50-50 with regards of not being backed by the owners and the other players not stepping up. And then you have to look again and say, right, we know what kind of a season they've had last season. I'm always going to say this, but that carries over and that 10% moves over to the owners again. And then you got to say it right. Then there was a second window that January came in, and then the owners didn't back again. They brought it. They covered one position, and hopefully he's a guy that can drop back into midfield and help for the rest of the season in Gakpo, because I like him as a player. But that's another 10% shifted over because this still wasn't cracked over then. And then you're sitting there, okay, now it's sort of 70-30 on the owners. And this is where you're sitting at that. It was 50-50 when they weren't backed. We still had capable players that just nearly got the quadruple last season. And then you got to say, right, now nobody's noticed the fact that they're tired legs. Then we're getting through the first 6 months. Then we know that they're a tired mind. Their mental state is gone. They're tired legs. All of this. Then not backed in the winter. That's the extra 10%. It's 70-30 on the owners in this one, man, for not putting, not even insisting that we invest in players. It's grand asking there, but they should see if they've got a team of people that analyze this stuff. Because we were known for analytics for the last few seasons under Michael Edwards, and knowing that where we needed trouble, and it was like a whole system in place. That system is still there. He didn't take that with him and leave. That's Liverpool's system. So you go in and you recognize who's missing in what position, and you fill the gap. You don't just leave it go until, maybe we get through this. Yeah.
It screams to death for me, mate, and we've all said it, every Liverpool fan around the world, that the club is an absolute utter mess at the minute, internally, looking from an outside point of view, and we're just fans. And you look at how... It's mad how, when you look at Jurgen Klopp now, he looks a little bit more fresher. Looks like he's been told something.
Yeah.
But it does beg the question, really. And I always go back as well, Kev, in chat. I always go back to that window, obviously the centre-back crisis season.
Yeah.
You could probably draw a lot of parallels. Probably the only parallel that you couldn't is given the extensive quality already in the Premier League now, given we got away with it that year in terms of keeping back in that good run of form. But I've never seen Jurgen Klopp as animated in a press conference as that season. When it comes around January, he was literally begging the owners to the rest of the world, please do something in the transfer window. And what did a football club present them with? A centre-half from the Championship. And even Jurgen admitted, that is not my expertise in terms of that's usually not the league I go to. Hence why we sold him a year or something down the line to Rangers, and obviously Kabak relegated Turkish centre half with Schalke, and look where he's applying his trade now back in the Bundesliga. So, and I get waiting for your target, of course. We waited for the Ibu, but it always seems to be the case, Kevin Chat, that Liverpool, we take 5 steps back, 5 steps forward, then we wait 2-3 years and take another 10 steps back. We defeat the opposition. Look at even the Champions League winning season, mate. Who did we buy?
Yeah,
no one. Vandenberg and another player. Like, was it Adrian as well? Like,
and a free.
I get well, that squad was very good, but you'd always strengthen on top. You'd always strengthen on top.
If all right, so let's say the Jude thing doesn't happen and whatever, and I know we've been glamorizing him and teasing with him for the last couple of seasons or whatever like that, and it has come around that they've made the right decision. I don't think any fans are going to be happy unless they see your Barella's in there, your Caicedo's in there. Maybe even if Gavi did he sign a new contract with Barcelona yet? No,
not yet.
I
think we'll be living in a.
We need these ilk of players to come in. I mean, if you're talking about Jude Bellingham and we're in for Jude Bellingham, then surely we're definitely in the talking market for a Gavi, because I mean, if Jude Bellingham is the top peer at the moment and we're in talks with him, then nobody should be out of reach for Liverpool going forward. And he's a young lad as well. He could come in. We could probably triple his wages coming into the club, but do these players even tend to do well in England? They do if you treat them like a David Silva's and your Bernardo Silva's and these, because that's the type of ilk of player he is. He's a David Silva type player, and you're Iniesta type player. So this is where we need we need these kind of players coming in. And if you said to me at the end of the window, and we got 3 of them in and another defender and maybe another right back or left back or something like that, then I'd be okay. We've steadied the ship, everything's looking okay, right? So no, we've still got another 2 windows coming up, more investment in it, and then we can really peak the buying skills. But unless I see like a complete drastic change in that midfield coming from the end of the summer, I'm going to be really worried going into next season. And every Tom, Dick, and Harry was going to be throwing the kitchen sink at FSG, to be honest with you, even the most staunching fans.
Yeah, it's the same stuff. We'll be getting peddled, mate, won't it, in chat? Big up chat. Keep on getting your comments in. More interested in what everyone thinks in the comments. Even if you're neutral, let us know. Where do you potentially see Jude Bellingham ending up? Probably going to be Real Madrid at this rate, especially if Liverpool.
I thought they pulled out, didn't they?
Well, supposedly, but especially if you're Jude, that's the thing, chat. If this is to believe that tonight, really, and Liverpool have ended, or just say we can't afford it, in all honesty, what are they wanting Jude Bellingham to do? Like, say to Dortmund, we want to. The only saving grace for Liverpool potentially is if Jude Bellingham only wants Liverpool. But that is very naive from the football club if we actually think that, because if Liverpool are wanting Jude to beg Borussia Dortmund to say, let me go for cheaper, or as Liverpool, penny pinching FC at the minute, say, we're only willing to go up to 85 to 90 odd million. But if obviously the package is worth more than 130 million pounds, supposedly from Fabrizio, and that was probably, everyone's knew that price tag though, Kev. We've all known Jude was not going to cost about 20 quid. We knew he was going to cost an obscene.
I think the fan base and the media have glamorized that price. I don't think Dortmund ever thought they were going to get to that level of a price, but I think there's so much commotion about the player now that they're asking for that kind of price. I said it that if we got him for 83 to 86 million, and apparently we put in an 84 million bid from today, then that I said, that would be in the realm with add-ons that you would do eventually down the line. It could be done over 6 years. There's no problems there. I think Liverpool would have been happy with that. But now they're talking about 150 million euro, which means they're looking at 110, 115 million pounds to 120 million pounds up front. I can get the justification and not going for him like that. I can get over long term he'll be worth it, but I still don't get any player being. I don't like money going that high for players. I don't like, I think they need to be proven in certain aspects. Birmingham, great, did really well. That's a championship team at the time. Went to Dortmund, has done really well in Dortmund. But then you're coming to the Premier League. Like the club that's going to be the buy-in club has to have some assurances that he's going to actually do the same kind of job that he did in the Bundesliga. But Naby Keita is a prime example of that. This is where Liverpool have learned their lesson. Naby Keita was the best player in the league in the Bundesliga in that season in the midfield, and of any midfield, even the ones in the world. Went to live, we sold him back to the club loaned him back to the club for a year. He ends up picking up injuries, coming to us, and he's never been a player ever. And this is what you're worried about, with this is what you're worried about with Jude Bellingham. So I get that money is not what he's worth. I don't care. He's 19 years of age. No player of his age is worth 150 million euro. I don't care. I mean, Enzo Fernandez kind of in that way is a good player, but kind of, at least he's a bit older. I don't know.
That's the going rate though, mate. And just it's the going rate in the modern era of football. Like you'd even look at when we bought Andy Carroll, yes, and the inflation of the modern day players gone up. Yeah. For now, you're never gonna get value for money. In all honesty, unless you are a club ran like Brighton and other clubs around Europe, like the Portuguese teams, where they're literally buying these players for €5 million, and they're turning them into £100 million transfers. Proofs in the pudding. Enzo, Benfica signed him, sold him to Chelsea in the space of 6 months for literally 95% more of what they bought him for. So I'd agree with you there, mate. But it's how football has always been, mate. You look at obviously Liverpool breaking the record for Kenny Dalglish, and back in that day was a lot of money. Yes, we were getting a very good player, but now, like for me, when I look at like transfer fees, it's very rare that you do look at a team and go, they've got a very good deal, because now, as you said, it's a great transfer. Like the Enzo. Dortmund know that he can get £100 million off someone, because Enzo Fernandez went for 100 million. Yes, he had a buyout and that, but I think they've set the precedent now with a football club to the rest of the clubs around Europe. For me, and as I said, but we'll get to everyone's comments as well. Back to the future. Back to future forward jumping back to the 90s, signing fourth choice players. Classic Paul Konchesky. Because it causes so much division in the fan base. You can go on social media without people ripping each other's heads off. Yeah, it's sad, Toby, in it, but as I said, everyone's allowed their opinions, especially but it's mad. It's the modern era of social media, sadly, mate, as we know. Smack big up there, Tom, doing a promotional work. Big up there, Mr. G. Big up, mate. Yeah, I'd probably agree with you. He probably will go to Real Madrid. Klopp would love Jude, but he has to work with a budget. That is what he is told. That's the thing. No, Eamon's imagine the Glazers or owners going to Sir Alex Ferguson. You've only got 20 million to spend. He would have. Yeah. He would have had a fair choice of words to say, and even Pep Guardiola to an extent. I get he's got.
Can you imagine Alex Ferguson on top of the boardroom table, taking off his shoe, hitting one fella with it, taking off his shirt, smacking another fella, bringing over his tie and hanging another fella from it, saying, "You're telling me I have how much?" And then they're like, give money.
That's where that Jürgen Klopp is too much of a pushover in certain scenarios. Like he should be going to that board and demanding, but welcome. Well, imagine that, Tom. Wonder do FSU want to leave because pushing him to the limits. What's doing? No, Niall and chat. If Liverpool don't get it sorted in the summer, Jürgen Klopp, for as much as we disappoint us all, but the questions will eventually be getting asked, especially if we don't bring the players in, that the eyes and all the ears and everything, all the attention will be at Jürgen Klopp, because he is the man that is he's a top dog at Liverpool. The buck stops at him, supposedly.
My worry there, Jack, is if FSG use that as
leverage,
as a means to put fake news out there for media, but they have people working in Twitter, creating little scenarios and as different accounts, and all of these owners do this kind of stuff. And if they're putting out these kind of things and they're saying all right, Klopp is too much of the golden boy for Liverpool fans, they love him too much, So maybe we kind of turn a scenario where we're kind of still needed a bit more than Klopp, and you don't want to go down that nasty kind of road, because Dan Henry's capable of doing it. He is very capable of doing it. Like, he's been known to be ruthless in the past, so he's very, very capable of doing it. But for me, man, I think it'll be the end of everything going on in the club for a few years if Klopp goes, and if FSG stay, and then you're just going to have the whole fan base turn against FSG, because nobody's going to believe that bullshit scenario. We're not Americans, man. We don't fall for that media stuff where there's an advert on TV every 30 seconds, you know. That's not how it works over here. We've got our heads screwed on.
I just don't think the owners don't know how good they've currently got it at the minute, mate. Like,
We're living in cuckoo land.
Yeah, it's like we've got the best manager in terms of what he does with resources, but go back to the days of Roy Hodgson or Brendan Rodgers, Christ. Like, we will literally go back to going challenging once every, for 10, 15 years under a certain manager, or get lucky as well. Like, I'll tell you what, imagine we are currently living in a world where Brighton and Brentford have they got better teams than Liverpool. If they finish above us this season, then you would technically say yes. In terms of clubs overthrow, like the quality in terms of managers as well, mate. It's only going to get even harder.
Do you know what I don't like, Jack? Do you know what I don't like? It's the performance we put in the second half against Arsenal the other night. I know everybody's forgotten about that at this moment in time, when we're looking forward to the next game, because we want to see that again. Because this is after coming out. This is the wrong timing. This is the wrong... None of this should have even been talked about until near the summer. Everybody's going to speculate. Let people speculate. But don't, whatever's going on here with the journals being fed this kind of information or whatever, it's taken away from the fact that, we blew Arsenal out of the water in that second half in that game. And we were by far, by a country mile the better side in that second half. So that's the kind of form I want to see going on and into the next game.
Yeah.
But I don't want it masked and forgotten about like it's happened 2 years ago because of all of this Jude Bellingham nonsense. So for me, I'm not going to worry about this anymore. Whether Jude comes or not, I want to see the investment coming in. But we've still got a few games left in the season to play. We got 8 games left, is it?
Yeah, so
to try and push that. Yeah, that's
8 big games.
That's 24 points right there to play for. And I want to see us being able to push for 24 points, So, and I said I would have been happy with 33 if we got it since before City. But at the fact, if we ended up with the 27 before the end of the season, I think that'd be okay, because I don't think anybody else is going to be kind of in that. I think United will struggle a bit. Newcastle look like they're on a bit of a bounce at the moment.
They're getting top 4. The way I look at it, mate, and Jack, keep on getting any comments in, and we'll get to every single one of these as well. If you are new around here, hit that subscribe button, because it's going to be a very long summer. We do a lot of transfer news shows as well. We've got a lot of content coming up, not just Liverpool, but football shows in general as well. But this, you analyse how Liverpool have been playing over the last couple of months. The team, and that goes to your point what you mentioned before, mate, in chat. These players are playing like they haven't got any pressure on their shoulders. Like, you'd think if certain positions were under threat, you'd be seeing a marked improvement in terms of some of players' performances. But for me, they're playing like they're bloody on the sun lounger already currently, mate. And they're far too relaxed going into the summer with lack of really ambition from the club or whatnot.
Well, for me, the only thing I say was the difference in what I've seen in recent weeks was, all right. So for me, Trent looked like he kind of backed off. He was 30% of himself the last couple of months or whatever like that. I thought he was a different player when he was playing in the midfield, didn't I? I thought he looked like he was up for it. He was passionate, and he was whatever about the first half. We know he was trying to still do defensive duties, but it was like the second half, Klopp just go into the midfield, do what you got to do.
It's a great point there. I'll just bring it out. It brings it up perfect. Just finds this big up there. Just finds it a bit funny that Klopp plays Trent in midfield just a couple of days before we're told that we won't be going for Bellingham. Also, as it was planned. And that just goes to carry on there, mate. I just thought it
no, Scott is right. So, but like, I think it's a funny thing, and like I've always been, man, I've been one of the biggest shout outs for the last 2 seasons, because when I see the the weakness in Trent's game being exposed. Like it was a couple of seasons back when Rashford burned him and he scored 2 goals and I was turning on him was like, Trent is just not a full right back. I get what kind of right back he is and what kind of right wing back he is, but I would rather him playing in front of a right back rather than me having the responsibility of being back there. So I think like moving up to that right hand side of that midfield is a perfect spot for him. It will pushed in a bit, but yeah, for me, look, it's that way. I'm not, lads. You know me. I've never had my eggs in the Jude Bellingham basket. I've probably been one of the only people that has never had that. Never even realistically thought he was coming, but when you seen the statement tonight, and as I said, I got a bit flustered and said, maybe he is coming. Maybe there's something big happening in the summer. Maybe that's happening. But I've always said I'd rather, if it was down to the money choices and we didn't have enough money, I would rather 3 world, even under world class players in there, but just become world class, going in there rather than spending all our money and our eggs in one basket. Maybe that's the way they're thinking. But if there is 300 million to spend, then that was more than enough to spend some sort of a deal on Jude Bellingham and bring in the rest of the targets that we needed to bring in as well. That's if there is that much. If there's not that much, and we're dependent, like obviously we're freeing up wages and we're not making much money off people.
Sounds as a bloody pipe dream by all accounts at the minute. Jack, you won't get any comments in, and I'm gonna go read back up to it, but yeah, we'll get to your question there, Ricky. We'll pick up there. Obviously, random. I think he's had enough with FSG, and I think there will be a lot of FSG outs growing a lot more as we go, because it's going to be a big summer. It is every single day we'll be getting linked with different players here and that and what. But Klopp would also say that 150 million is if a Jude was too much. But obviously, Eamon Klopp was on record. Was it last year or the year before when he was in the presser? He was saying, "I'd never spend 100 odd million or an obscene amount of money on players," and hence
that was before. That was before the market change. Yeah, it was before the market change. I think even before Pogba went to United, I think he was only in there for the first season, and he said, "I couldn't see myself spending 100 million on a player." And then all of a sudden, the TV rights money came in, completely changed the market. Paul Pogba was 90 million before the market change. That would have mean that he was, with the market percentage went up, he would have been about 210 million now for United. That's just that's how much the market's changed, which is nuts, really.
Yeah. And chat, I love to see it. By the looks of it, as you can see there on Twitter, so the rights of Jude. John Henry's tweeting. That's what you love to see. Hopefully, it's just tagging John Henry saying, "Give us some of that Arteta money, John Henry, if you can." Maybe we said we're out of the race because we've won the race. Big game plays there by FSG, hopefully for DHS or 5DHS, whatever. The FSG cons, we put in an 85 million bid, knowing it was never enough. So we can go, this is madness, but at least we bid. We have to come together and get the clients out of the club as well. North, big up there, North. I know, obviously, one of the biggest supporters on the channel. And I think me and you have been speaking over the last couple of years, mate. We've been here, done that, bought the t-shirt, and all honesty, we've been sold all these journos, reports, year after year. But if you settle for mediocrity in a transfer window, we're playing like a mediocre side this year. And I tell you what, if it wasn't for Alisson Becker this year, we'd be much further down the Premier League table if it wasn't for him, Henson being our player of the year.
It looks like, Jack, that it's an extra. Let me just have a look. It's an extra 48 million euro or pounds, not even euros, that Dortmund are looking for Jude on top of what we'd offered. So 84 million pounds. They want 132 million pounds, which is 150 million euro.
Still, that's cheap for me. In chat, that's cheap. Like any of you, I'm highly doubting that Borussia Dortmund would be wanting that 130 million up front.
Yeah.
As you look at the modern day transfer, how transfers are done. Look at the Jota deal when we signed them from Wolves. I think we figured out we struck a deal for like 5-10 million per season. Like, and for the long term vision of the Borussia Dortmund as a club, we know how financially stable they are, given the great business they've done in the past. People get ready. 10 years of mediocrity is coming. Jurgen Klopp, the new Wenger. Fair enough. There, North. Klopp's a yes man by this point. Let's be honest. Should be putting his foot down. Ask him why he signed on for another few years. And Scouts, big up there, mate. I did mention that before in relation to Jurgen Klopp needs to put his foot down, as you alluded to there, mate. Jack, what's your reaction to, that will set Ricky or Luke, whoever it is, that will set Twitter into a massive frenzy. And that would indicate the ambitions of Liverpool Football Club. For as good as Milner is off the field, that's great. But at the end of the day, Liverpool need to start winning games of football and winning games of football really quick going into next year, because no rest for the wicked, as they say. Football's not going to wait for no one. Milner's a new captain. Oh, bloody hell, behave that. 7 years investment of what? FSG House, and by the looks of it, Kev, a lot of the fans are very much turning on the owners. And I can 100% agree where everyone's coming from. It can't be wages. How much of those Griff's, but yeah, he don't even make to the tea. Question: do you feel Dortmund may not sell him? He still has 3 years left on his current deal. I've heard maybe slap a buyout clause with a new deal. Kev, I'll ask you, Chas. I'll direct that back to
that could be that could be a ply as well. You know, that from Dortmund. I mean, this is coming from Liverpool saying they want to back out, and you know, either way, if Dortmund put a new clause on his contract, then that's still going to put it at 150 million minimum, and we're still not going to be involved in that. So I don't see the difference whether Dortmund put a clause into a new contract that he signs on, or whether he moves. No, it's still the same money they're going to be asking for, and we still won't be involved at that rate. I know everybody's saying, I know you said you paid the money or whatever like that. I'd pay upwards to the £100 million or something like that. I find that extra 30 odd million on top, because we're offering, like, you have to look at the Haaland deal as well. I know he's got a clause in his contract. I know he's got all of that, but there's like deals over on top of that as well. I think a sell-on clause with Jude's age would make Dortmund a lot of money in the end as well. You know, so like if he stays at Liverpool for the 5 or 6 years, signs another new, like a second contract throughout that, once he passes 2 contracts, that clause will still be in effect for Dortmund to make money. As long as it passes down the line. If he was to sign a third contract, then it would disappear. But there's a point where he can go 4 years, like 3 years, getting if he's been a phenomenal player and world class and one of the best in the world. If we would give him a new contract, that'll see more money go to Dortmund at the end of the day. If eventually somebody like Real Madrid or Barcelona come in for him or something like that. So either way, it's win-win for Dortmund. But I think at this point, demanding this kind of amount of money for a player so young who's had 2 good seasons at Dortmund, but came from Birmingham, it's a bit too much. It's just a little bit over the odds of being realistic.
This is where I'm strongly disagreeing with Kev, but I understand we're agreeing. Agree to disagree with there, mate. It's the thing. We need to start paying the money, like, for these players. What is it if you turn round and say you want 60 million, 70 million from Pirelli? Well, Liverpool then go, we don't want to pay that. The Saicedo is easy. Look at the amount of bids they rejected from Arsenal and Chelsea a couple of months ago. He's not going to be cheap. We are then eventually start having to, if the ambition of the club is, we're going to be shopping in a tier, about 2-3 tiers.
I get it. Yeah, these lads are worth 40 to 70 million in the long run. And I do believe Jude is worth around the 100 million mark for what he is. I just think that it was touted at that point of being around, I think it was around 130 million euro. And now they've jumped that up by another 20 million, saying this is what we want. And this is like the way it was always touted. This is what the journals were saying. It was always going to be around this.
Demand, though, like anything, mate. Of course, that bloody transfer fee is going to be probably 870 million in a couple of months.
I'm hoping that it is a good ploy from the guys behind the scenes at Liverpool. I'm hoping that it is to the scenario where Jude said, I want to go to Liverpool, and everybody else has started to drop out, and then both parties see an outcome where, like, Dortmund's after asking for this amount of player or this amount of money. Jude has committed to going to Liverpool. Liverpool have seen that as a way of saying to Dortmund, okay, so now we want to do a proper deal with you. We're going to pull out unless you lower the money by a good 30 million initially, and then we'll add it on eventually going forward. So I'm just thinking it's a big game that's being played right now. I'm not saying that they're not going to get their money. I'm just saying that I'm kind of on the ilk of, you can see, we're from Liverpool's point of view, that it shouldn't be immediately 130 million straight over to them with a complete risk being put on Liverpool. Especially as people have noticed how strapped up Jude has been lately. But I would say do it in such a way that there's an initial fee put up, and then leave that grow over time per contract, per sponsorship coming in, stuff like that. Because I can see they're going to get that money. They're going to get more than 150 million euro off Liverpool for Jude Bellingham with all the add-ons that's coming up. Yeah. So I on both sides, I would say to Liverpool, right, get paid the right amount of money, and Dortmund get the right package deal. The players happy to go to Liverpool. Just let it happen. And I think it's just a tug of war at the moment that's going on. Liverpool have pulled out, but they can be straight back in before the transfer window opens.
Spot on them. It's a game of poker, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, it's using a bluff face, in all honesty, whether it be Borussia Dortmund, Liverpool, Real Madrid, City, whoever's serious enough will come to the table. And especially if Liverpool are pissing about, Chas, if we are pissing about, then a City or Real Madrid will gazump us potentially. Yeah. And for me, if I was Jude Bellingham as well, Chas, if you're wanting to come to Liverpool and you're seeing Liverpool not be 100% in for you, that would cast out for me.
Yeah.
If I was him and I wanted to come to the football club, that for me just says, as a club, that they're not willing to, and they don't see a future in me, in all honesty. But that's
the thing for me as well, Jack, is I'm not jumping on this bandwagon that Liverpool have been caressing him for the last 3 or 4 years. I know we looked at him before he moved to Dortmund. I know we did this and that, but I don't think there's been all of this where we're really chasing him. I think every other club has done the same due diligence with Jude Bellingham. They've all made their points very clear to him. I don't think like any Liverpool fans should turn around and think that, we're the laughingstock if we don't get Jude Bellingham. That's not the case at all. Real Madrid should be a laughingstock if they don't get Jude Bellingham, because according to their fans, they've been touting him a long time as well. Manchester City should be a laughingstock because, as far according to their fans, they've been touting him as well. So don't be going down that road where you think that one team is a laughingstock over the other, because nobody has said Jude Bellingham is committed to Liverpool. It's just the only news that I've seen that was positive tonight was an hour before the Liverpool journalists came out and cancelled it straight away. That's the only news that I've seen that indicated that Liverpool were after putting in any bid for Liverpool or for Jude Bellingham. That's the only news that we've seen coming up from that and surrounding things. And then the main 5 guys for Liverpool have come out and said, no, Liverpool are not in the race because we just find it too steep at the moment. And I think that's applying Liverpool's part. I think they do want them, but I just think that they don't want to be paying that initial big money and taking that risk up front. It's got nothing to do, I don't think, with not having funds in the bank. I think that the club wants to back Jurgen Klopp, and Jurgen Klopp has got an idea of how many players he needs in at Liverpool. But putting all your money in Jude Bellingham and then leaving the rest of the places weakened is not a good ploy, because Jude Bellingham is not going to win us titles on his own. That's from my point of view. And I do think that a lesser fee up front for Jude Bellingham and more investment gone into the rest of the team at the same time is probably a bit more common sense. So I can see where they're coming from, but I'm not pro FSG that way. I'm just if they don't get the money, I'm trying to keep a level head in all of this. If they don't get the money out and support Klopp, no matter what, even if Bellingham doesn't come now, just get it out and fill the bloody team with good players is what we need. So
the more, FSG, get your bloody money out. You're so happy getting your bloody corporate boxes in this brand new stand and everything, really. Like, just like Jesus. Yeah, you're supplying their back pockets. You're supplying John Henry's new yacht, Kev. That's what you're doing. Yeah. Sorry, private extra room there. Like, it's not going. It is always thinking, it's going to Jude Bellingham. He'll be going for another bloody bumper contract for Salah, Christ. But let's get to everyone's comments as well. Big up, Kaylin. Hopefully I pronounced that right, mate. Apologies, and if you are new around here, chat, hit that subscribe button down below. Obviously, put your bell notification on, so there's going to be plenty of shows throughout the week.
Is it Keelan or Kaylin?
Keelan.
I think so.
Let us know. Let us know in the comments. Going to be horrible when we look back in 15 years and say, what if? That's going to be the case, mate, isn't it? Especially I'm only 27. Jurgen Klopp, this period of dominance is the best years I've ever witnessed. Watching Liverpool, obviously, We had a great period under Houllier, winning the treble. Obviously, with Rafa Champions League, Rodgers saying that was Suarez that single-handedly got us to the final day, very close to the title. And obviously, Jurgen Klopp with the best moments. We've won everything under Jurgen Klopp.
I think your Twitter feed there alone is showing the emotions of everybody at a ladder tonight. It's gone John Henry, Britain first, get in there, and then everybody's gone ISIS. Everybody's just gone crazy to ISIS levels. It just shows it there. Look, yeah, everybody's saying FSGO and all of that. Yeah, I mean, we know that we need investment into the club. We know we need new owners that are going to come in and step back and stay out of the bloody way, to be honest with you. I don't want to hear an owner's name coming in. I want to hear, oh yeah, somebody so-and-so has bought Liverpool. No, I never want to hear from you again.
Stump up your cash. Kev, you probably don't in the chat. The FSG probably don't even know we're playing this week, in all honesty. They couldn't give a toss. Like, they only care about the money and the revenue streams. Of course, everyone go, yes, they're businessmen. And
I done bought me a kickball team.
Can I invest that into the NFL or whatever sport franchise we've got? Can we buy a new NBA team? Christ. But there we go. Third richest club going by last year's. I'll rattle through all these comments as well. Keep on getting them in, chat. Third richest club going by the last year's runs. It's like football under. It's always got all this money, but you ain't getting it. True enough. August will be the month chasing free agents. But you heard it there first. North bloody hell. Wouldn't surprise me. From the sounds that we need to be linked again with James Ward-Prowse, Nathan Redmond, and Tyro Mings. Tell you what, in FSG's world, Brendan Rodgers, that would be a superb window for the club, wouldn't it? In FSG's world, that's their expectations of who we need to sign. That's what happened, and we'd definitely be solidify ourselves as a 8th, 10th place team in the Premier
exactly
League.
What is that Luke or is it Ricky? That's Luke, is it?
Yeah, we need, I think, probably Ricky.
Is it? No, that's exactly what I said earlier. Need one world-class player and really just good players. It's like, for me, you need to be getting in a Barella. That for me is a world-class player. You bring him in and then you cover off. I know Caicedo was really, really good. Is he at a world-class level? No, because he's playing at Brighton, but he's a really good player for Brighton. And this is the ilk that you need to be surrounding him with. And start bringing these guys in. He's definitely right. Go for somebody who's world-class level, and then build a team with competent players around him.
Yeah, definitely. We need to back to sign one world-class player, like we did with Alisson, Van Dijk, etc. Just give so many others, these players, a lift during the season to do so much more, playing alongside those players. Spot on there, mate. Obviously read that one. Big up, mate. Big up, Benz, man. Big up, matey. Obviously, big up, mods. Can you please drop Benz's channel link in the description there, please, mate? Absolute legend. Hope you all, matey. Tally out, La and Spider. Liverpool are a bloody joke. 3 years chasing, and what a waste and time and effort, and of course resources.
If true, I'm glad you finished that with if true, Gary, because our mindsets are so broken from just admiring Jude Bellingham from afar these last couple of seasons that we've ingrained it in our own heads that we were involved in this for the last 2 years. But we're the same as any other club, man. We've inquired about him. We're appealing to him because his dad is a Liverpool fan, and we're a really a family-based team in England compared to the rest of the English-based teams. Well, United probably are similar ilk to us, and Arsenal are probably similar to us, but the rest of them, your Chelsea's and your cities are just built around money, manufactured really, and we don't think that appeals to more than what it would be for going for a team like us. So that's why I think we've romanticized our time with Bellingham, because we're thinking that his attitude is right and he's of that ilk. Hopefully he said yes, and this is the reason why Liverpool are playing these little games with Dortmund. So we'll see.
Yeah, Sean's looks actually out. I think a lot more people will be after tonight. Liverpool needs
I know.
On to the next targets as well. Sorry there, lads.
Yeah, exactly. No, just Sean's other comments down lower was what I was looking at. Yeah, well, how did Klopp sell us out? That's what I'm trying to find out. What does that mean?
Please obviously try and explain that if you can, mate. The language is interesting. Obviously, this from Killian. The language is interesting. In the current situation, I wouldn't be surprised if he stays another year and we waste another season. It's a sad reality, mate. And and I said, I think all of us were singing from the same hymn sheet. You're going to need to get a set of bollocks, go to the transfer committee and go, right, these are players. What's my budget? But it was literally scripted, chat. It was a couple of weeks ago. We had the articles that were getting spouted out. War chest, or there will be funds. There's going to be investment, supposedly. Next week, it'll be, Liverpool aren't looking no more for investment. The FSG are very content with the current situation that they've got. But we'll find out. It's more important to get FSG out than obviously getting Bellingham. Big up there, mates. Easy. Obviously,
the media has been saying that we've had Dolly Parton every single season. We end up getting Kate Moss.
Oh
yeah, war chest.
Yeah, war chest, my ass. It's a classic My Family quote. Maybe Klopp agrees before he goes. Tell you what, Lewis, if he doesn't get his way, he's not a.
I wouldn't blame him.
He's a very intelligent man, and everyone goes, Klopp won't walk. But Christ Almighty, if stuff goes down in the summer, there's been already, as we know, there's been massive arguments internally, and hence why you're looking at players arguing on the football pitch. Yes, you can be frustrated and hendo screaming and that, but this season, especially, as it has shown to the rest of the world and the rest of the Premier League, that there's massive internally structural issues. In all honesty, mate. Don't worry, we're getting Brendan Rodgers. Hopefully, never again. Lewis, bloody hell. He's going to be going to Spurs. He did there first. He'll be going to Spurs well and truly. Chelsea, Liverpool sounds good too. Together. But yeah, Kaelan, cheers, lads. Okay. Kaelan, apologies about that. It's big up, mate. And cheers, lads. Hopefully, we bring some other top lads in. Luis McAllister and Florian
Wirtz. Yeah, I like Wirtz.
I think he's Kaelan. Is he?
Yeah, look.
I think he's a free transfer at the end of the season. Obviously, Bayer Leverkusen. Obviously, Xabi Alonso's coaching them at the minute. They're doing quite well in Europe. And Frimpong as well, chat. We haven't watched them. I've watched Leverkusen a couple of times this season, but
the Arsenal player, the ex-Arsenal player, was
it? No, I think he's another player. Yeah, another Frimpong. But yeah, there'll be a lot of movements.
Wirtz is a free transfer at the end of the season.
Is he?
Oh no! Wait! He signs on at Bayern. Wait! He says till 2027 because it said that his contract runs out at the end. Let me see now. You see that he was saying on. Let me see. Germany has Florian Wirtz committed his future to Bayern Leverkusen by adding another year to his previous long-term deal, extending his link to Leverkusen through to 2027.
Yeah. Oh, so it looks like he's signed a new deal by the looks of it, That's that ship sailed by the looks of it then. I still think Liverpool will spend 200 million on 3 midfielders. Easy. Hopefully that's right, mate. And as I said, there's going to be plenty of shows coming up. So, chat, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, make sure you do hit that subscribe button down below. Obviously, on the road to 10K. And obviously, if you're not following us on all socials, we are on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, and everything, really. As Liverpool's terrible season, I won't accept anything less than Jude.
Well, we can't say that. If you say that, that's so expectant as a fan. I'm sorry. Jude is one of what we need. He's not the be all and end all of what we require. What we require is a full midfield makeover, and he was going to be the icing on the cake. But to be honest, we can't turn around and say that it's either Jude or nothing, because there's more.
Still value out there.
Yeah.
And we need to be getting, and that goes to the whole point of, as I said before, the structural issues at the club. You look at Brighton, how well, from a transfer strategic point of view, we need to be going out there and signing the 5, 10 million, 15 million pound midfielders before they actually go to the likes of Brighton, likes of Brentford, other European established clubs. And you're like, 2 years down the line, you're like, we should have got them, in all honesty. We need to be getting back to those levels of where we would be so successful. Big up there, Russell. Big up, matey. I know me and Russell have been going through, over the last couple of years, we've been speaking about transfers and obviously, more or less, hit the nail on the head. Mountain Gallagher incoming, lads. I'm done with the club, lads. I just want Fordham and Kone now. Why can't we get affordable players and Dick as a free? And
Yeah, I
Russell,
wouldn't put I wouldn't put it past us to be in for Ndicka. I think there'll always be somebody hovering around him if we need a centre back, especially. But that's only if we've already got like a sale from Matip or something like that.
yeah, we the club is an agreement.
Yeah.
We're in absolute shambles at the minute,
Yeah.
not just on the pitch but off the pitch. Bellingham was our best chance. Bloody hell! Now I know you're trolling there, lad.
Yeah.
Now I know you're trolling. Nice try though, thanks. You give yourself up there. João Gomez went towards the 17 million. There again, another player. Another player that was, of course, on the radar. So value is out there. You look at Paulinho. The fact that the Liverpool or clubs in the Premier League, that's one that went under the radar. In all honesty, you look at what's it getting for 15, 20 odd million from Sporting, and we know how good he is already. I know he's 26, 27, but that's a player that ilk really is someone that Liverpool should have been all over. And obviously, a good citizen, big up there, mate. Lavia, a great shout there. I think probably potentially City might have a buyback clause on that. Obviously, he's a defensive midfielder, as we know, and yeah, he's a very good, talented player, mate. And of course, if Southampton are to go down, that would be a very good shout, mate. Great name there. We have a lot of strikers, but yeah, he has a left wing. If you could sign 3 midfielders, who would it be? Big up there, Fred. For me, obviously, I've done a video today. If you've been a regular on the channel for the last couple of seasons, for me, last couple of years, I've been crying out for better Barella. I think systematically, he suits Liverpool down to a T from a defensive point of view. Covers so much of the space down that right-hand side for Inter Milan. Getting a goal again tonight for Inter in the quarters against Benfica. I think he's got everything in a midfielder required for Liverpool. Very good box-to-box, so good on the ball. Technically excellent in terms of tight spaces. I miss the days of watching a midfielder for Liverpool get the ball and dribble past 3 or 4 players. We haven't had that for a very long time. Obviously, the only player, would you say, Kev, that can do that is Thiago Alcantara.
He can play between players. I mean, the one thing I like about Thiago is he's able to do it. I like it about Gakpo at the moment that he's able to, but he doesn't care if he drills through the player. You know, he's got that much strength. So that's what I'm liking about Gakpo at the moment, which is why I think he should be moved back to the left-hand side in an advanced role in that midfield. I think he's perfect there, and I think if you've got a good balance of a player like Barella and to maybe road with. Where would you play Barella? Would you move him on the right or would you move him more central?
It'd be right. Yeah, the right of a midfield three. That's where he plays for Inter. He plays in a 3-back system as well. Obviously Dumfries, and very similar to if he was to come to Liverpool at Inter, he's got obviously Dumfries down that right-hand side who vacates quite a lot of that space down that right-hand channel. But for me, it'd be my priority, Barella. Barella, a player like Ugarte as well, a Sporting Lisbon. He's only just turned 22 years old. He's number 6 defensive midfielder, very quick, very pacey, agile, excellent defensively. And then you're just looking at potential another midfielder. Yeah. A lot of people are mentioning Kone. There is players out there, even a Fordham. I think it is Lille anyway currently. The youngster, he's not going to be a lot of money. About
I think we can get him at a steal. I think Klopp can turn him into a really good player.
Obviously, you got the Fordham, who Russell did allude to. Obviously, he's a free.
Gravenberch, what way is he at the moment?
Well, he's surplus to requirements at Bayern Munich anyway, especially with Tuchel. So there is value out there, mate, and chat. But yeah, Barella would be at the higher. Fred, I'll pose that back to you, mate, in chat. If you could pick 3 midfielders, who would you like Liverpool to go for? Right through all these, Gallagher deal is worse. Could happen. So it's the thing. No, Valerie, we've seen what Jurgen Klopp can do to players. Everyone writ off Andy Robbo. In all honesty, everyone was like, "Wow, we signed a relegated whole left back." Same with Gino Wijnaldum. If they come in and they do well in the system, I think Jurgen, we can get the best out of him. We will legit buy Mount and Gallagher now. Wouldn't put it past. Big up there. big up the Anfield Lark. The Marcus has ran away from us. When we sold Coutinho to Barca, we never thought we would be the club spending that amount on one player. And you're absolutely spot on there, mate. Spot on. Hope you're well, matey. And thank you for dropping in. Yeah, he's Anfield Lark, spot on there, Kevin.
That's 100%.
It has ran away, but it's the reality. I think it needs to boil down, and the club really need to establish themselves now as we need to be one of those clubs. Maddison from Leicester, Neves, and also Jude. Yeah, it's great names, especially Matt. Tell you what, if a couple of those big teams do get relegated, Chas, obviously Lavia is a very good shout. Maddison, if he gets relegated with Leicester, I tell you what, there's massive value there, Kev. In all honesty,
it's huge. Yeah, with the teams that are going down, you'd nearly want some of the teams with the best players to kind of go down, so that these players become available. You know, Maddison's a great show to come in as part of a team. I think he can become a good member. He's a perfect replacement, really, there for Ox, really, isn't he? To come in and play in that kind of position over there. He likes it from the left hand side coming in a bit. That's what we were kind of using Ox a lot the last season or so, when Ox isn't that type of player. So I think that Maddison would be perfect there to kind of come in for Thiago and that left a bit or something like that, just to kind of freshen up the game a small bit and be a bit higher up the pitch if we're desperate for a goal. So yeah, look, a shout for him. He's coming into the last year of his contract, I think, isn't he? And this season coming up, 2024, I think his contract runs out. So if Leicester do go down, we can probably get him for fairly cheapest chips, I think. You're on mute there, Jack.
Sorry. Yeah, we were doing a show when we made and Chas, and systematically as well, formation-wise, that's a big thing. Whether Liverpool, and that will hugely dominate Liverpool's transfer targets if Liverpool are to try out different systems, because we need to, because tactically, when the 4-3-3 doesn't work in certain games, Liverpool need to be very adaptable, and we need players that are very adaptable and certain different, a lot of, not just one static position. You need to be able to play in a variety of positions. Similar with Ginny when he come in, obviously predominantly was playing down that left-hand side for Newcastle, left midfield, and obviously for Holland, playing in that centre forward, can roll behind the striker, getting a lot of goals for Holland. And even for Roma, he's played in a bit more of an advanced role since he's come back from injury. And obviously it's about getting the right players, the right profile. But as Kaelan said there, Kone is probably the most similar profile to Jude, and we can get him for around 40 million. Makes so much.
Makes more sense. That does for me. Yeah, it really does. Like, I've been saying that for a long time. I love Kone. I think he's a great midfielder. Him and Barella now will be a great start in the midfield. And if you top that off with a Caicedo in a more of a defensive role, I think you're looking at a really fresh midfielder and a ball winning midfield. That's what we need. We're lacking. Somebody said that there earlier. I think that ball winning midfielders is what we need, as well as creative midfielders. And if we can get the likes of them over the line, if we can back them up with another good right back, I'd say I would go for the Gvardiol. I don't know what City are going to do much about in this transfer window without selling a majority of players, because they're seriously under investigation right now, and they're going to be watching can they go and buy more players? That, can they even activate Levia's
buyback?
Can they even do it? Are they going to be like, all right, you're on a noose for the meantime, you're not going to be able to spend at the moment, and whatever you spend is still going to be taken into account, which means they could be on a massive ban from transfers even if they go ahead with this window. So you could see a complete change where they just go nuts and say, all right, we're going to get done anyway, or they're going to go and stay kind of quiet and stay in their lane a bit under investigation. So we don't know.
Yeah, it's going to be mad, mate, isn't it? And the player that chat, obviously, Valerie's just mentioned, Yuri Tillemans. It wouldn't surprise me if we go after him. And chat, I don't want him. We're speaking about not having legs.
He doesn't have legs. No.
Tillemans can't run for days. And again, of course, playing in a different system, having the right players around him, fair enough. But technically, he's sound, he's good, but he's very inconsistent.
Pivot player, great shot artist. He creates from spots, but he won't track back fit. He won't. He's not a ball winning player, and that's exactly what we need in the middle of the park. We need interceptors and ball winning players, like Fabinho was. Fabinho was always in a position where he was blocking
over
the ball.
Possession, quite quick. Yeah. Definitely, miss. But Philip, I never wanted Bellingham as a force. It was overpriced and overrated, but he is a great talent with the potential to be a generational player. But we need more than two midfielders, in my opinion. Barella is better, and I'd massively agree.
I think we have more of a need for Barella than we do Jude right now at this moment. That's the kind of thinking that I'm saying. They're both different types of players, but I just think that I think we're in more of a need for Barella just because of his ability to win a ball back and get in there. He can also help at number 6 on that side as well as being creative,
Yeah, definitely. But big up there, Fred. Obviously, if you are new around here, chat, I know we've had quite a couple of new subscribers, so really do appreciate everyone for heading over. Obviously, me and Kev will be obviously starting a new channel very soon, getting that sorted, and that'll be more general football. So obviously, all the links will be in the community tab very soon. But Fred's spot on there, mate. I feel like we are missing Gini Wijnaldum more than we know. His pressing and his energy was unmatched. Spot on, mate. Absolutely spot on. Barella is the best replacement for Jude. 100%, mate. 100%. I'd be crying out for them.
This is where I'm thinking that what's his name is very Gakpo is very similar to Wijnaldum in a way, but he's a little bit more creative and he's got a better shot in him. He comes back and he wins the ball from behind the players in the midfield. He does all that. I think it's crying out for Gakpo to be played on that left hand side. And as well as it depends on the formation that we're playing, but as on the left hand side of a central midfield role, where either Fabinho or Thiago, they're being more creative, being less defensive maybe, and a bit more protective. If you've got if you would like a Trent on the right hand side at the moment without getting Barella in first. No, for the rest of the season is what I'm talking about, not for next season obviously, but for the rest of the season, I think that is a creative but more balanced midfield that can really step up and win games and be creative as well as be defensive. Because Trent has got the defensive nous now, and if we are going to be playing him in midfield a little bit more, then he's going to cover the midfield as long as he doesn't lose the head and just start going forward. And then we just say, oh, why are we playing him there in the first place? He's not being defensive. We can't lose that defensiveness from him by covering defensiveness, not just he's not a defender.
Yeah, defo. Just see. Did you see Russell's comments? So City won Gavardio on Bellingham.
If that happens, man, and they're allowed to get away with that, everybody's just going to lose interest in the league. It's just going to be a farmers' league.
It's just going to be like the Bundesliga, Bayern winning
French. French league, Bundesliga. You might as well say goodbye. The whole point of the Premier League is supposed to be competitive. But if you got one team running away with it and the rest of them just being competitive below that, that's crap.
Yeah, big up there, Easy. Ugarte is Fabinho's regen. Better on the ball, probably as well. Caicedo could be the old Gini role, and Mount could be one getting in more attacking positions. I'd love these three. Yeah, Easy. The three different. The offer is spot on, as you've alluded to in your great comment, mates. They offer a lot of different elements to Liverpool's game because all of us, we've watched this Liverpool side. We've struggled in terms of ball retention, but in terms of even when we have got forward in certain games, you do look at Liverpool's midfield this year. Apart from Elliott trying to break the line, but he's still a very young player. Liverpool really, currently at this moment in time, apart from Thiago Alcantara, lack players that can get on the ball, get past about 3 or 4 players. Naby was that player before he got injured, and obviously the player that he was at RB Leipzig obviously played in that 10 role behind obviously Timo Werner, and he looked a completely different player. But yeah, go ahead, Dick. Kev.
Oh yeah, I forgot what I was going to say. What was the last comment on that? All right, R.I.P. Lee. But it was I was reading other comments as I was going along, and it's which one are we going to win the league answer? Oh yeah, well okay, so Mount could be a different player under Klopp. Let's not judge a player who had a couple of good seasons for Chelsea up until Tuchel came in. And then he didn't look like the same player under Thomas Tuchel for some reason. And I think but Thomas Tuchel has a history of ruining good players that play in different styles and different ways, He was outstanding for he was outstanding in their Champions League winning season, and for them. And, he was super creative. He was banging in goals left, right and centre. He was a golden boy for Chelsea. And all of a sudden, because somebody comes in with a different tactic and wants to play, and then just kind of, just leaves him out of it. So I wouldn't judge Mason Mount because Mason Mount can play football. I just think that Klopp is a better manager and he's a better coach than Tuchel. And I think that he can do a lot more with Mount than what we would expect to see from Mount at the moment. He's not getting into the Chelsea team, we get it, but that's only because when your head has gone a different way from from
He
having
seems
a
lost
really,
at the minute.
he does,
Right.
yeah, and Tuchel seems to have done that to him. He seems a bit toxic, Tuchel, in most places that he goes to.
He's
So
very, very blunt the way in
yeah,
which he coaches players.
yeah. So I don't think there's any. I don't think he didn't mind seeing the back of Tuchel when he left, to be honest with you. But I think his time is done at Chelsea, and I don't think he'll be at 70 million. But I think if we get him at Ox price, like we got Ox a few years ago, I think he's worth a punt.
Yeah.
So just to have in the squad, not to be a starter. He could become a starter, but just to have in the squad, it's better than having Ox and Naby Keita in there at the moment. That's what I'm saying. So
Yeah, he's got that experience, chat. Of course,
yeah,
as we've said already tonight, all of us, as Kev's alluded to a lot, in terms of he's not our first priority, but he
no.
helps. He's that complimentary player that we can bring
Yeah,
in.
Barella's coming in for Henderson.
Yeah.
Caicedo's coming in for Fabinho. That's what I would say in these positions. And you've always got Thiago. Then we still got Fabinho there. Henderson could be moved on according to the reports. And then on the left hand side, you probably could bring in, as I said, a Madison or a Mount or something to cover underneath Gakpo. So these are kind of players that I would like to have because he doesn't get injured in comparison to Ox and Keita, who are always injured. So if you have a player that's never injured and he's on the bench available all the time and can actually throw a few passes together, then yeah, I would take him.
Oh, we say this as well, Chas. If you haven't seen the pictures of Jude Bellingham strapped up as well, it's probably understandable. Like, yeah, obviously he's a young lad, still 19 years old, still developing. Well, as you alluded to there, Kev, knowing our luck, we'll be signing all these players and they could have the picture perfect injury records in their career or young career or whatnot be, and they'll come to Liverpool. And the biggest signing for Liverpool, as we said, countless months, is Liverpool's medical department. We need to first and foremost get that sorted. So like bringing all these new midfielders in, like, but yeah, it's big up there. I'd agree there, Russell. Definitely, mate. City have got a loads of youth players they can sell. Definitely, they're youths. Well, they've done that. The one thing that a lot of people do miss is City. Yes, they had all that money and they've spent it well. The infrastructural payments in terms of that they've bought more or less. You look at Cole Palmer, you look at Foden. Of course, they were on the books, but you look at Sancho at the football club as well. Prior to him moving to Borussia Dortmund at his young age, and yeah, all the top talents is over the last 10, 15 years since the new takeover of City has mainly come from Manchester City. You look at I think it was Mbappe on the books at Chelsea as well. Supposedly, it comes down to obviously Chelsea not bending the knee really for Kylian Mbappe in terms of what his family and entourage wanted. But it's just mad if you think about it. Arsene Wenger could have got Zlatan back in the day as well. A great, smart, and makes more sense to buy multiple mids instead of Bellingham. Just hate the way they went about it and wasted seasons and prime players. Yeah. Kaelan, 100%. I think we'd all agree on that, mate. Big up there.
I still think it's a ply. I still think we're in for Bellingham, but I just think we pulled out of it just to try and lower the price.
Yeah, definitely. A few hours ago, put in a bid for Jude. Now lost interest. Who's playing mind game? Bid. Massive thank you for tuning in this late in the night as well. And big up to every single one of you.
I'm expecting music after that comment to go.
If you know, when we were doing that stream a couple of nights ago,
big
up there, big up there, mate. Liverpool are so off winning a league now. It's scary. We won't be in with a shout either, whilst we are not buying quality. What the frock? I'd agree, mate. We're a million miles away from where we want to be, especially if we don't get that midfield sorted. Barella is improving in the Prem. When we were there, good. We bought proven Prem players.
There's Bellingham, though.
Yeah, true. Yeah, Russell. You can say that about Bellingham and certain other players flopped compared to Wijnaldum, for example. Yeah, true. It's always the risk, though, Russell and chat. Any risk, whoever, even if you're spending 20 million on a player, you never guarantee that it's always going to work out anyway. Then I rattle through all these comments as well. Chat's been an absolutely amazing live.
Oh, there you go. Philip just answered what I answered.
It's the same can be said. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. No, it's there. Like Bellingham is a world class talent. He's going to get better and better. It's just whether Liverpool feel it's the right money to spend at the right time for him. It's all down to them. And I don't know, mate. Like for me, yeah, I'd break the bank on a player if we've got more to cover the midfield. If it's going to leave us shy for next season, then I would rather spend it wisely, and that's just me.
Yeah, definitely. Klopp will do it the Klopp way. Looks like he will be a reset, like 2016-17. A few top players can be added a lot to the team rather than just one gem. If the budget is to say on 250 million, spot
Exactly
on
what
there,
you said, yeah.
spot on. If we do not believe we have pulled out, this seems like a PR stunt. I think we are in for Bellingham, and I think we will get him. Very much so, mate. If you just tuned in, you more or less said what you just said there, mate. You spot on. There's going to be a lot of mind games, quite rightly so. It's interesting, yeah. So 40 million for a squad player, yeah, for them. That's the thing, Russell. There's still value in chat. We know there's going to be plenty of live stream shows as well, which that'll through all these. Perhaps this is just damage limitations for FSG as they just played their hand early, so the fans know where their budget is at. Yeah.
Yeah, even with regards to Coram and the Coney and the Toram thing there that Russell was saying. Yeah, but I mean, sales in the club is probably going to cover players of that ilk, you know. So it's these sales and getting the wage bill off the thing. That's what's going to buy your £40 million players. It's the war chest that's supposed to be available. It's meant to be for the big signings and stuff like that, which is why I'm finding it so kind of strange as well that if we are supposed to be in for Bellingham, why not just buy him and then use the rest of the money to buy another 2 top-class midfielders, then use the sale money to buy the covering players. You know, it's there, so let's just use it. But he's right, yeah. Coney would be better, and Toram.
Definitely, mate. Speak up there, chat. Speak up there. I like this one. Navi isn't injury prone; he's just allergic to English grass. Yeah.
Who was that before? Somebody was that before when they were allergic to grass or something, and they were a footballer.
It is mad.
Yeah.
Was it Eggy Davids when he had that, like, obviously eye injury? Or was it Soko?
Yeah.
He had that condition with his eye.
It was somebody. Yeah, there was somebody in European football. There was definitely somebody for Liverpool who was allergic to some sort of grass or something or whatever they did. And I was like, "You're a footballer, dude." You know? Yeah.
Unless they're playing on sand in like Rio de Janeiro or something like in Brazil. But yeah, didn't expect Jude to walk in and see Jude blowing up as big as the house. Yeah, we want to see the big Jude Bellingham news and all that, mate. Big up there, matey. Cool. Hope you're well. We always knew.
Oh yeah, we're very. What he's saying is that we're very small in the screen compared to Jude on screen.
Oh yeah,
yes.
He's a big lad anyway.
He's a big lad, yeah.
He's probably taller than us anyway. Hey Jude, gotta take a hike. We could buy 4 because I say it does for that price. Yeah, very much true, mate. What's Connor saying here? Who's getting a new big money contract? Naby or Milner? Chat. Who's reckon my money's on Milner? There we go. But yeah, there we go. The summer could be amazing. LFC announce Jude early and then go on the prowl. Long way to go. But Kev,
I'm thinking if it's been talking about now and this mind game is starting, then obviously he's going to be the first person announced if he does come through. So it's just it's just a matter, and then I think we'll go nuts then in the summer. Hopefully,
yeah.
We'll see.
Chat, there's how many of you in here? 37 people in here, chat. If you are new around here, everyone, make sure you do hit that subscribe button down below. We've got plenty of transfer shows coming up every night anyway, because off the back of tonight's news, it could be changing every bloody hour. We could wake up tomorrow morning and Liverpool are back in the race. You never know, but a massive thank you to every single one of you. We're going to be doing so many shows. Kev, it's been an absolute bloody pleasure, mate. Thank you very much for coming on.
No problem, man.
We'll be definitely doing quite a lot of shows when we're down your end anyway. So I might be in Kev's room. Might be in the background.
He'll be here. Actually, Thursday, he's flying over. You're flying over here Thursday, right?
Yeah.
So we'll be doing a show from here anyway. So
yeah, looking forward to that.
Ooh, I'm blinded by the lights.
Yeah, true, Philip. Can't imagine Max is 90-ish and one player for PSG. Imagine we have PSG's money saying that. He's still winning one Champions League. And how disappointed were you, chat, with Bayern Munich tonight? Did you watch it, Kev? Just like
I know. I put the little at the bed, dozed off for an hour, and then I just I missed most of the game. Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
very disappointed, chat, just to find off.
It was shocking, I heard.
They were bad, like really bad. Yes, you can talk about City being excellent, really, but I can't. It still baffles me to still already that Bayern Munich still haven't bought a number 9 when he lost Lewandowski. A lot of today's news was dominated by Osimhen potentially going in the summer, post the end of the season to Bayern, and it would understand. Obviously, they need an out-and-out number 9. There's so many times tonight that ball was getting out wide for Bayern, and there was no one literally on the 6-yard box to put that ball away. Klopp should go to tell you what. Imagine what he'd win at bloody Real Madrid. I tell you what, if Klopp went to Real Madrid would literally win the league and the Champions League every single season if he had that budget and he had that team and he had that experience in the team. But yeah, chat. A massive thank you to every single one of you. If you are new round here, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Put your bell notification on as well, so as you get notified when a video does go live. But everyone, Kev, everyone, have a lovely rest of your night. Hopefully we wake up tomorrow morning and there's a bit more better news in relation to any more transfer news. But cheers, everyone. You never walk alone, and we'll see you tomorrow.